What up bros, I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Nerf Alien Menace Incisor. Doesn't really look as much like a Nerf blaster because it's an Alien line, part of the Alien Menace line. This one is a turret-fed flywheel blaster that's semi-automatic. Let's get into the review. Included is the blaster itself, a few cool colored elite darts, and the instructions. Now let's go over the externals and function in a bit more detail, starting of course up with a front. This blaster does not have an in-strike attachment nozzle because I'm sure the aliens don't know what in-strike even means. It has a really cool, unique look, kind of like a laser gun from space. Get it? Because it's an alien gun. But nothing functional or movable up here, it's just, cool looking plastic. Under here is kind of an angled vertical grip that also doubles as the access door. When you slide the little orange button, the grip opens up like this, and that is the access door. If you have a jam, you can clear it out like this. If you think of a traditional Nerf blaster this way, like upside down, the access door is right on the top. It's the same thing, just kind of on the bottom. Up and down is all relative. Ask the Aussies, who are always upside down. So maybe up in space, the aliens just like that stuff on the bottom. I haven't had any jams or malfunctions with this blaster, so I haven't had an opportunity to use the access door, but it's definitely open enough to, access the darts, which is the point of the access door. Moving up, this guy is the cylinder or the turret. This is where you load in your Nerf darts. It loads like many other cylinder or turret-fed blasters. You can just push in the darts like this, and you manually rotate the turret like this to get to the other barrels so you can load them all up. The turret holds 20 Nerf darts. The included darts look a little bit different, but they are Nerf Elite darts, and the box even addresses them as Elite darts, just like the Zombie Strike or Rebel darts. They look a little different colors, but they're all the same thing. It is worth noting there are no in-strike tactical rails up on the top or anywhere. There are no iron sights or anything. Apparently, aliens don't have to look down their blaster to aim like at all. They can just kind of intuitively fire, but that's why our race is going to get destroyed. Long live the Homo sapien. Cool looking plastic, but none of it moves or anything like that to point out in the review. Down below is the grip. This is a very human looking grip, but I'm glad they made it this way instead of some goofy, weird thing that's not designed for a human hand. That would just be a little too far, but the grip is pretty comfortable. It's nice and large, so no complaints there, and a kid's hand will handle it just fine. The little hand guard doesn't move or anything, but it's comfortable. There's enough space in there so it doesn't restrict and make you feel cramped or anything. Lanyard or sling mount down here, and to the triggers. The top one is what fires the blaster. That's what actually pushes the dart into the flywheels and rotates the cylinder, but down below is the rev trigger. Because it is a flywheel blaster, you have to hold this down for a moment before you pull the primary trigger. And being a flywheel blaster, it does take batteries. The battery tray is up here. You remove the single screw here, remove the cover, and then you insert your 4 AA batteries. Moving back, this orange thing is the stock. It's very small, fitting like a Retaliator stock. I wouldn't really use it as a real stock, but it kind of gives a better cosmetic appearance, I think, without the stock, because they couldn't put on an in-strike attachment stock point because that would contradict the whole Alien Menace, we don't know what a human is concept thing, and it would look weird without it, just like to kind of hip fire only. So I wouldn't actually shoulder this small of a stock, but I think it fits the cosmetics of it. And up top there's another sling mount right here, which looks surprisingly human to me. Operating the blaster, again, you just load up the turret by pushing in darts. The turret holds 20 darts, then you hold down the rev trigger, assuming you have batteries in, and then rev away and pull away. Semi-automatic means you have to pull the trigger every time you want it to fire. It's not a full auto like a rapid strike. Die, human scum. So it performs very similarly to other flywheel semi-automatic blasters in the Elite line. I put this blaster up on the chronograph and I got an average of about 71 feet per second, which is right in line with the Nerf Elite average right now of 70 feet per second. So it performs just as well as most other blasters. Semi-auto means you can fire pretty quickly, as fast as you can pull the trigger, and even when I pushed it pretty fast and tried to get up to a really high rate of fire, I didn't have any jams or malfunctions. Of course, with the motor bogged down, you're going to have a slightly decreased range as you go really fast because the motors can't really keep up, especially on the alkalines. But the performance is pretty good. When running it hard, this actually operates a lot smoother than something like a Strife or something because of all the locks and nonsense like that. I'm pretty surprised that I like it, especially with the turret of this size. When the cylinder has so much mass, usually when you start pushing it hard, it'll skip or malfunction like a lot. I had 1 or 2 skips when I kind of had a half-assed trigger pull. The instructions pretty clearly state pull it all the way back and then let it release all the way forward. So if you kind of halfway it, you will create a jam out of user error. So if you encounter that kind of jam, make sure you're pulling the trigger all the way back and letting it release all the way forward so it can properly cycle. Disadvantage of a cylinder or turret-fed blaster compared to a magazine blaster, which has its own dart feeding mech built into it, which is this spring. So overall performance, pretty happy with it. Now to my overall opinion on the blaster, I was not expecting to like this blaster at all. I thought it looked really goofy, before I actually held one. But now that I've shot it, I like it, and I'm really surprised that I do. The firing is very smooth in a way that I can't really articulate, and I definitely can't show on video. It's just how the finger feels when you're pulling the trigger. It feels smooth, even when you're running it really hard and you're trying to get a fast rate of fire. It still cooperates, which is nice. Usually I'd want to open up the stock blaster, take out some mechanical locks so I can go a little bit faster. With this one, other than like pumping up a better battery source, I really wouldn't want to modify the firing mech. So very happy about that. Overall ergonomics, not really my taste, but I can't really complain about anything in particular. The grip is comfortable, which in my opinion is one of the most important things. The forward grip area is weird, but it's not like objectively bad or uncomfortable. If you can kind of decide where to put your hand and just kind of leave it there, it'll be fine. The stock, of course, is really short, but like I said, I don't think it would be really appropriate to put an in-strike stock attachment point on there. So this type of stock is better than nothing. Ideally, maybe an adjustable stock would be cool, but then they might have wanted another $10 US for it out of the box, like as a more plastic, more manufacturing. So I get why they went with this stock, and I can't really complain that much. So overall opinion is positive, which surprises me. Now I want to disclaim, I wouldn't really use a blaster like this in a Nerf war because I'm just kind of addicted to box mags. If you have a bunch of box magazines or external in-strike magazines, there's really no good reason not to use them because you can load up a bunch of them and quickly reload. But cylinders, and especially high capacity cylinders, definitely have their place in Nerf for a lot of different people that don't want to use magazines. And having a higher capacity cylinder makes it much easier. Obviously, most people want more darts in their blaster so you don't have to waste time reloading and you don't have to carry around a bunch of gear on you. And regarding the size, it is a little bit weird. It's kind of this SMG small carbine type of thing. But if you get a strife and you put on a front barrel or a stock, it's going to be the same length. So unless you use the strife and the smaller blasters without adding on attachments, it's going to be pretty much the same size. And then you just don't have to get the attachments. But of course, you don't have that customizability. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just trying to point out some things before you say, oh no, I need to do this. I need to have this stock. If that's your style, stick with the in-strike blasters because you can customize them to exactly how you want it. But the firing performance is nothing to complain about, 71 feet per second again. I didn't have any jams or malfunctions, which I'm really surprised with the cylinder blaster. Overall opinion of the Incisor is definitely positive, and I'm surprised by that quite a bit. So yeah, kind of went into it saying, oh, I'll just review this one. I'm not gonna like it, whatever. I'm enjoying shooting it. It's kind of weird, but it's fun. So that's my review and opinion of the Alien Menace Incisor. I'm definitely looking forward to see what else Hasbro has for the Alien Menace line. I'll be reviewing anything else in the future that they release. And as a positive comment towards the line, I'm glad that it's so completely different than in-strike, but it's not too different to the point where you're picking up a grip that's, you know, actually engineered for a non-human. That would just be annoying. It looks cool, it looks alien, sort of like the 90s Nerf blasters, like the Scorpion one, and they have all these goofy blasters. It's really quirky, which I like. So I'm really excited for the Alien Menace line, and I'm pleased that it's not all just a gimmicky, hey, it's Alien, but it actually works well. It shoots just as fast as everything else, and I didn't have jams, and it works smoothly, and the ergonomics are pretty solid, considering I'm not even the right species for which this blaster was designed. Just kidding. So that's the review of the Incisor. I'll put a purchase link in the description box to where I purchased this. It is advertised as a Toys R Us exclusive, so I would check there first. That's the video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay tactical. Weird setting because I'm moving houses and I haven't set up my new studio. These guys were nice enough to let me borrow their living room.